I want to welcome everyone. Good morning and welcome to the InnoBuyer final event. So I am Filipa Souza from F6S and I have the honor of being also InnoBuyer coordinator. And today I will also be your hostess for this event. So this forum is being organized with the support of the Innovation Procurement Programme of the European Innovation Council. And it will bring together key actors from across Europe to explore the outcomes of the InnoBuyer project and also to discuss how innovation procurement can drive the adoption of human-centered technologies in both the public and private sectors. So the Tech for Humanity Forum, what brings us today here, we will try to showcase also the key results of InnoBuyer project. So basically InnoBuyer supported both public, mainly public, but also private buyers, what we call challengers, and also innovative SMEs and startups are solvers in co-creating solutions through our very own Lean methodology, which is demand-driven, and we aim to tackle the innovation procurement approach the best way possible. So this event will offer also a space to share the success stories by their own voices, by the solvers, by the challengers. And we want to highlight the human-centered technology innovations. And we also hope that at the end of this session, we have provided you with practical guidance on managing procurement challenges. So we will also be featuring discussions on EU policy and regulation, as well as looking into the future also in this arena on introducing future initiatives. So we have designed what we believe it is a good agenda that focuses on the main principles of InnoBuyer: learning, sharing, and most importantly, co-designing the future of innovation procurement. So thank you all for joining us in this very important moment for us at InnoBuyer. So before we dive into the core content of this event, just a quick note on logistics. So this entire event is being recorded and will be made available shortly after the end of the session. To ensure smooth running and GDPR compliance, all of the participants are currently muted and have their video off, but you can still participate. As always, we value your input. So please post all of your questions using the dedicated Zoom Q&A box through the event, and we will be able to address them during the dedicated panel sessions. As I already told you, please let me guide you through our agenda today, which is packed with insights and also our own examples. So the overarching theme is learning, sharing, and co-designing in innovation procurement between solvers and challengers. So after this initial opening session, where I will be sharing with you the overview of the event, I will do a brief summary on the InnoBuyer methodology and its impact on accelerating innovation procurement. Basically, I will also take the InnoBuyer participants down the memory lane with a brief recap of all InnoBuyer actions and also immediate results. So the most important part is this core sessions, session 1 to 3. On session 1, the Innovation Showcase, we will feature presentations from the winners of the InnoBuyer Open Calls. So our challenger and solver pairs. So this is where we delve into the results of the co-creation process. Session 2 will move us into a high-level discussion, panel discussion on the challenges and solutions we encountered and overcame also while developing and implementing this procurement methodology. So this session will present key findings from a new white paper on the landscape surrounding innovation procurement in Europe. On session 3, we will provide practical steps for how this lean approach can be adopted and also put into practice. So our closing session will be more a forward-looking discussion, also highlighting additional opportunities and initiatives in the field of innovation procurement for both procurers and suppliers. We continue this by meeting the experts, the moderators of the respective sessions. The first session, the Innovation Showcase of InnoBuyer Open Call winners, will be moderated by Anna Tors. So she has been with us since the beginning of InnoBuyer. She's a partner representing Civita. So Anna is, just to give you a little background on each one of the moderators, Anna is the lead innovation project coordinator at Civita, Estonia. She is an experienced manager and consultant in innovation. She focuses heavily on connecting the European deep tech startup ecosystem and fostering collaboration. So we are very excited to have you here today, and for also to Anna to lead the demonstration of our winning teams. So leading the second session on challenges and solutions in innovation procurement, we have Jorge Gonzalez, the Director and Chief Impactful Innovator at TIC Biomed. He's the promoter also of the Impactful Innovation Movement, which is an initiative that investigates the barriers to deploying innovation and proposes solutions to overcome them. Besides that, Jorge also has delivered business coaching to startups and SMEs to improve their business models, and also access to finance and go-to-market strategies. So as a director of TIC Biomed, one of our partners, he has participated in over 20 European projects, including InnoBuyer, many of which involve demand-driven and procurement of innovation. He's also author in policy papers, and the principles that he will discuss today are cross-sectorial also. Going into the third session, we have Elena Lopez from TIC Biomed, leading the discussion also on defining your challenges and navigating the market. Elena has been instrumental in InnoBuyer and also as a project manager at TIC Biomed. She works on innovation projects that help demand side organizations. And we are talking about regional health authorities or hospitals to identify their innovation challenges and find suitable partners to solve them. So she was in fact supporting a whole 6 InnoBuyer teams during their innovation journey. So thank you, Elena. And then we proceed into the closing session, the future initiatives discussion. So we will have Bertrand Wert, the European Innovation Council, from the European Innovation Council, who is the project officer of InnoBuyer and also program coordinator at ISMEA. So he will be sharing the opportunities for innovators in a pre-recorded session, as unfortunately he could not be present today at this time due to other professional commitments. We will have Ina also she is the coordinator of InnoMatch, who agreed to share with us the exciting opportunities that InnoMatch has for all the innovators, for public and also for the solvers. So I think that now we can start the keynote. So learning, sharing, and co-designing in innovation procurement between innovation suppliers and buyers. This is the long title of InnoBuyer. Okay, so in essence, in InnoBuyer, we aimed not only to identify and address procurement needs, but also to foster collaboration, also to foster innovation and successful outcomes to a very structured and iterative process. So we start by presenting the partner institutions who prepare first the proposal and then who collaborated in a very nice environment to bring InnoBuyer to this point, to after 3 years of collaboration, to a very healthy environment also among the partners. So this was in fact a pleasure to work with these institutions and mainly these people. So let's look at the consortium that made this project possible. So we have F-Success coordinating. F-Success core mission is to empower founders and startups globally to grow and to tackle the world's most urgent social, economic, and environmental challenges. F-Success provides essential growth tools and services, including grants, funding, and partnerships to accelerate company development and also to maximize innovation impact. So it operates as a leading global network that ultimately will connect startups and SMEs with public sector entities, corporates, investors, and research institutions. The second partner, without any particular order, is TIC Biomed from Murcia, Spain. And TIC Biomed is an association that promotes the adoption of successful innovations while avoiding the value of that for pilots and transforming health outcomes. We have also Civita, who is the leading consulting company in Central and Eastern Europe, which brings crucial expertise in open innovation and ecosystem development initiatives. So together, our aim was to make InnoBuyer become a testing ground and benchmark towards the implementation of demand-driven methodology to jointly co-create innovative solutions and speed up the process, leading to concrete innovation procurement. Now, the basics on InnoBuyer. InnoBuyer is a coordination and support action funded by the European Union's Horizon Europe Research and Innovation Programme. So we had a total budget of 2 million euros, 1.5 million of which to provide to third parties. So I already told you that our main goal was to become a testing ground and also a benchmark towards the implementation of demand-driven methodology that I will explain briefly in a bit, that aims to bring together challengers and solvers to co-create the innovation solutions that are needed and also to speed up the process leading to innovation procurement. So the core message and the mission of InnoBuyer is very well encapsulated by this image. So what we aim at the end is connecting the problem with the solution. Ensuring innovation becomes an integral part of public organizations also, and it is crucial for improving the service provision to citizens and customers. While we also want to promote the efficiency and effectiveness of organizations. So although these organizations have the option to acquire established solutions from the market, there are often instances when their demands surpass the available offerings. These unfulfilled needs highlight the necessity for solutions tailored to their unique requirements, often requiring development and also customization beyond what is currently available in the market. So in InnoBuyer, we had a strategy that was totally funded by the European Union, providing a significant financial stability. We focused also on reducing the paperwork and make processes faster with enhanced outcomes. So it is generally demand-driven. It was built on a real unmet needs from public organizations. And finally, we have to reference this. InnoBuyer was powered by the EIC Innovation Procurement Programme, so which gave us access to some of Europe's most effective tools for driving innovation forward. So how we did it? And here is the part where we go into describing the InnoBuyer methodology. So when we look into our methodology, we can distinct 4 phases that we decided to call actions. So we follow this process and call it InnoBuyer methodology, but it's basically based on action 1, which is the identification and description of the challenges, meaning that at this time, both public and private organizations could apply to InnoBuyer with an innovation unmet need. So during this first phase, InnoBuyer Consortium worked with these organizations also to transform the initially submitted unmet need into an improved version, okay? So we help the institutions to transform and also to have a final public version of what we call the challenge. So during action 2, we tried to find the best solution for the challenge. Okay, so we connect these public institutions with innovative SMEs. We did this by first showcasing the need via the open market consultation events that we hosted, and we assisted the challengers with the recruitment of SMEs via the open calls that I will summarize in a bit. So we provided also financial support for this part that you can see in the arrows at the bottom. And finally, we go into action 3, which is the core, I think one of the core differences from InnoBuyer, which is the pilot co-creation phase. So we provided the duos. So after selecting the pairs, we have a solver and challenger pair for each challenge. And what we did is that we guide them to this co-creation phase where they developed via a very healthy interaction. They develop the solution, the final solution. And this, we have different budgets for depending on the open call. So we had open call for solvers and also open call for EIC solvers with a different budget. So InnoBuyer ends with action 4, where we help the challengers only to prepare and conceptualize the terms of reference. We provided financial support also to hire legal help to help the institutions navigate this very complicated legal framework for innovation procurement. The actual adoption part, which is outside of the InnoBuyer scope, but we also were able to see some of these challenges resulting in final adoption, and we are very glad. So, quick summary of the open calls, which we use for selecting the solvers, selecting the challenges first, then selecting the solvers. So in InnoBuyer Action 1, we launched an open call to find challengers for our InnoBuyer. We had nearly 40 finalized applications, and we were able to select 15 challengers. InnoBuyer supported this in institutions by refining and transforming the innovation unmet need into a defined challenge. So we run open market consultation events to validate their needs with the market, and provided also dedicated mentoring by all of the partners to help define the challenges and create the necessary pitch decks to use afterwards. So the goal at this point was to transform an initial raw unmet need into an improved public version ready for the solution. These were the winners that stood with us until the end of InnoBuyer, going through the 4 actions. I will not reference any of them. It would be impossible to correctly define each institution in so little time that I have, so I just let here the overview of the challengers that we onboarded on InnoBuyer. So in the open call for solvers, where we try to find the best solution, the best SMEs, we had a very successful open call. We had 179 finalized applications, and we were able to select the solvers, 12 from the InnoBuyer ready-made challenges that I talked to you about before in Action 1. And we also were able to select 2 EIC solver and challenger duos. So basically they defined the challenge before applying to InnoBuyer. So this is what we call the open challenges. So another 4 duos were selected, composed of an EIC solver and a challenger via the second open call, the open call for EIC solvers, which was able to attract the attention of 40 challenges that were finalizing their applications. So at the end, we had the pairing complete, and they basically, and we had the ready-made challenges. We have here the open challengers pairings for which was exclusive for EIC companies. The second cohort that we were able to compose from the open call for EIC solvers. And you will be hearing from them throughout the rest of the event. So Action 3, as I already mentioned, was all about the co-creation of the pilots. They were working together. We provided only the framework, guided them through the process. We continue to mentor the duos now. We provided a supportive structure, supportive documents. We tried to organize dedicated workshops and webinars. We had monthly open door sessions and also communication and dissemination actions. So I invite you all to go into the InnoBuyer website and check our impact stories. You will have access to all of the amazing results that these duos were able to achieve. So regarding action 4 and the terms of reference development, we also continue to provide the structure for this action, and this was exclusive to the challenger, okay? The ones that have to prepare the terms of reference, that have to prepare a future tender, a future contract, okay? So we provided budget for legal support, and once again, try to answer the needs of the challenger. And I highlighted here some of the workshops and webinars that we delivered to this action. So this is all from me. And now I will give the stage to our first moderator, Anna.
Thank you very much, Filipa. Thanks a lot. It was an amazing thing to listen this summary of what has been done in the past, 3 years. A journey, definitely, but what is the most important, the journey that brought very tangible results and that resulted in concrete support and concrete stories that we would like to share with you. We have with us Irache Perales and Rafael Olmedo. And I'm not going to say much more at this point because there are the main stars here. They are those who has stories, reflections, and results to share. So I think that we can start with Rafael Olmedo, Las Rozas de Madrid City Council. Rafael, the floor is yours. The first thing that's in the program that's what it's going to do is for Rafael to present the summary of the project. Then I will invite Irache, and then we still should have a couple of minutes to share some reflections and have a quick chat. So without further ado, Rafael, the floor is yours.
Thanks a lot, Anna. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot for Filipa. So this has been a really nice trip and a really nice experience for us, and we would like to share our experience and all the challenges, the results, and so on. So please let me share my screen with you. Okay. So first of all, I am Rafael Olmedo. I'm responsible for one of the innovation department here in La Roza City Council. It's a city in Madrid. And the project we have deployed is Motini. It's called Motini. It's Innovative Mobility Procurement for deploying an innovative and low-impact charging points network for electric bikes and scooters in a metropolitan area in which we are trying to boost mobility, personal mobility. So La Roza is a small city council where this has a population of 95,000 people here living, and it's a very large city. So one of the problems we are facing is the way people can move around the city, just using personal mobility vehicles and so on. And in the other hand, also the city councils belongs to a technological cluster and around the city, and we are trying to deploy with other city councils around this one to deploy a smart region and a smart metropolitan area in which we are trying to connect not only the innovation scopes of the city, but also to connect with the mobility, the people, and the mobility between the cities and so on. This is our one of the program parties, and the other one is Solon. It was the small company that has join us into this trip. Solon is a startup. It's a company that was founded in 2019, and they have deployed a very nice solar pavement in which is possible, as you can see in the right side of the picture. It's a solar pavement in which the solar may also be used to charge personal mobility vehicles like electric bikes or scooters. So this is a patent technology, and this is something that it was a really nice solution for what we were looking for. And that was our purpose, to move forward towards a friendly and sustainable city, trying to improve people mobility and using non-polluting personal transport vehicles. So the challenge that we invite for the challengers in InnoBuyer was to deploy a charging stations network for electric bikes and scooters in open and natural areas, because it was not only a challenge for the city, but also to promote and to boost the natural and the green areas of the city. And in the other hand, because as far as we are also working with regional partners, there is a green corridor around Madrid city in which we are also, Las Rozas is here. There is a very small city into this corridor. And when with these solutions, it could be also possible to scale up the charging station solutions, trying to connect not only the city, but also the green corridor around the whole region. So the main challenge wants to have a solution that could be suitable for green areas, but also accessible, because we wanted to deploy a solution that also suitable for people with personal, with disabilities, with physical disabilities, and as a network. And well, the solution that we deployed with Solon was this one. You can see here one of the final of the final stations that was installed in the city. For them, was the first time that they installed this solution in a green area, and this was one of the installations that have been also produced with this project. For sure, with trying to go ahead with our requirements, the time, the budget, the guarantees, and also to provide the business plan. For us, the main key of the bullet points were to deploy the charging station, but also the back office implementation using a user web app friendly. So the users may connect with the system, may use the system, and in the other hand, we also could engage user engagement and also engage other stakeholders for the project. The initial program, well, we have some issues. So first of all, we started by trying to co-create the solutions with the company, but we have to delay because we were here during the system development, the Valencia flood, both for us some 4 months delay. So, well, in the end, we could achieve the final result, and this is what we have achieved. Those two first stations installed in Las Rozas, and so the users may charge nowadays their electric bikes and scooters with this solution. And through this trip, we have learned a lot of things like how do we have to proceed if we want to scale up the systems due to some technical issues with the technical providers of the startup, also the experience of the users, also trying to improve the solutions, including artificial intelligence or improving accessibility and so on. And for us, and for the small company, they could also achieve any product performances and improvement, and also to deploy a new business model of the company just based on the lessons learned with the project. And the results and the impact is those two stations, the red one. But nowadays we are also starting to increase the network with two more stations that will be deployed during the next month. And for the future, we are trying to deploy very much a larger network. So this is one of the main results. 2 stations nowadays working, 2 more stations that are coming, and a larger network for the early future. And that's all. So thank you very much. And as I said, it was a really nice experience to be with you and with the program. Thanks a lot.
Thanks a lot, Rafael. We will deep dive a bit in a minute in your experience, but for now I would like to introduce Irache to present her solution and share her journey in the InnoBuyer program.
Hello, How are you? Good morning to everybody. Okay. So yeah, my name is Irache Perales. I am the CEO at Microfy Systems. We are based in Barcelona, in Spain. And our project is Honey AI, which is one of the products that we develop at Microfy. We are experts on developing affordable and easy to use AI-powered microscopy devices for the food and agriculture sectors. And this is the first product that we developed specifically for honey. Most of consumers are not aware of this, but when you have to buy honey in the supermarket or any grocery store, this honey has a fingerprint. Within this honey, there are pollen grains, which are like the fingerprint about where the bees went when they were creating the honey for them, and that we then as consumers we can go to the shop and we can buy it. So in this honey, depending on which type of honey you are buying and depending on which is the geographical origin that you want to buy, for instance, if you prefer to buy national products, you can know which is the origin of this honey by analyzing these pollen grains inside the honey. It is not easy. It has to be done by experts. You have to first dilute the honey with water and then centrifuge and extract the sediment. And when you are looking this sediment in the microscope, of course, you have to be a super expert in that topic. Then when you analyze these pollen grains and you are able to recognize the species of these pollen grains, you can verify which is the botanical origin, if it's lavender, rosmarinus, if it's citrus, if it's different types of honeys that we have all around Europe. And also you can identify the geographical origin, where this honey comes from. This is not only for quality, this is also for fraud identification, because you, if you are a honey packer and you want to sell this honey to consumers, you have to indicate the botanical and geographical origins in the label. But of course, you can do fraud because you can identify your honey as a fraudulent botanical or geographical origin. So one of the typical tasks that the government has to do in every country, not only in Spain, is to analyze different food samples from honey and others to identify potential fraud. Well, with honey is one of the main complex tasks that they have to do in official inspection bodies, because they have to do manual microscopy analysis to check for the pollen sediment. So the challenger that we started to work with was the Agri-Food Arbitration Laboratory in Spain. It is based in Madrid, and they are in charge of all the honey samples from Spain. And until now, they did it manually. So they have one expert that they have to analyze manually the samples that they collect, and they have to manually check for that pollen grains, they have to count, and they have to identify the species. It takes around 1 hour if they are doing it manually. So they wanted to do it automatically with a system like the one that I am presenting today, which is Honey AI. We have an automated device, which is fully autonomous in scanning the sample and taking the pictures and uploading the pictures to the cloud. And then we have different AI models where they can recognize the pollen grains and they can classify them in species. So with our system, they can identify botanical and geographical origin. Our system is very cost effective compared to personal expert, like human expert doing the work. Then we reduce waiting times for the inspection points. It is very easy to use system. You don't need to be an expert. Everybody can use it, and they can increase product control. The system also allows other type of analysis, not only pollen. We can do also color measurement and conductivity and yeast, which also was very important for our challenger. This is the PDF of results that our system creates after the analysis. It takes around 1 hour. And after this analysis, automatically our cloud generates a PDF of results where we include pictures, and also we include the specific concentration of each pollen type found in the sample. So the laboratory can do a screening of fraud for botanical and geographical origin. The work done that we have developed during the last 5 months with our challenger, we first had to agree on scientific criteria because it was not exactly the same. So we had different discussions to agree on which criteria to use. Then also we have to fix a lot of IT problems with the IT department of the laboratory because they are a public institution. So it was not easy for us to connect to their Wi-Fi and to use their laptop. So we had to fix a lot of problems at first in this topic. Then also we have to readapt all our AI models to them because they were using a specific sample preparation protocol, which was different to us. So the morphology and the brightness and the color of the images were not equal to our data set, to our previous database. So we had to redo all the data sets again for them to obtain good accuracy. And once that we had prepared models for them, then they analyzed 50 samples. They compared our values with their values as a human expert. And then they assessed the accuracy and other usability KPIs to check if they are satisfied or not with our system. We also did different communication actions like press release, like one specific event for the honey sector in Spain. And also we attended different events together with our challenger. Yeah, I want to present who we are. We are 7 people here in Barcelona. We cover biology, AI, software, and mechatronics. Oh, I missed. Okay, I missed the most important slide. Who was this one? It was that the outcome was that they finally acquired our technology. So they were happy with our technology and finally they purchased the system and we have created a service contract with them. And I want to very brief present our main learnings, which was that R&D is always complicated. So even that we thought that the project was going to be quite easy and straightforward, finally it was not, because we have to create again all the models for them. Then that public bodies are not very flexible. They cannot. So you have to adapt to them. Then that usability is essential for them. Because it is not it is not only about technology, but also about how users can perform with your technology. Then that it has been very important to create market reference in the public sector to be able to go to other potential new clients. And then that everything is about personal relationships. And yeah, that's all from my side.
Thank you very much, Iracha. And thanks for this last slide, which basically covers the first question I wanted to ask you.
Yes.
But maybe just to give other participants this clarity, Iracha is representing the solver, so the company that was delivering a solution to define challenge, and Rafael is the one who defined challenge. So as we know, the solver perspective, Iracha's perspective, on lessons learned, Rafael, maybe you would like to show us the other side of the coin and share what were the biggest lessons learned for you.
Lessons learned for us.
Yes.
So for us, well, as you know, we are a city council and public entities. Sometimes it's very complex to move inside the city council for creating this kind of project. You know, we don't know how to deal with the fundings. We don't know how to deal with the small companies. We don't know how to deal with the timetable and so on. So for us, it's not easy. It's not easy. So we have to co-create the technology, but also we have to transform completely the entire way the public entities are working if we want to include innovations coming from startups. You know, so this is a really hard work for people that are working in innovation in public entities. On the other hand, nowadays, what I feel is that most of the people understand innovation, and most of the people are aware and really confident that this is something that for the future, there's no other way to innovate. Just as far if we don't include and involve startups, innovation in large companies, another way to work.
And what about future? You started reflecting on that. What's the how the participation in InnoBuyer influenced your organization, but like in the longer term? So what do you expect to see changing, or what do you maybe already see started to change?
Yeah, first of all, is because this was just the starting point. You know, so this is not just something that we have already created and that's all. We have a co-creation project or a funding project or an innovation project or whatever. This is just the starting point because we are taking a long-term view, just trying to create mobility, improve mobility, and so on. So when in the starting point, innovation is there, startups are there, and you know that if you want to go to scale up the solutions, you have also to continue this process. For us, it's nice because all the people that has been working in the starting point now understand that for the next step, for creating, for scaling up the solutions and for creating final solutions, we need to engage and involve the whole departments of the city council, and all of them know about the project, and all of them know that what can be expected from them for the future. Mm-hmm.
So the homework was done, let's say.
Yeah.
With a positive result. That's great to hear, because that's exactly what InnoBuyer is looking for, this longer term impact and the change that is sustainable and gives opportunities, or leads to the opportunities for new, on one hand, institutions like yours to procure innovative solutions, and startups to have opportunity to startups to look at you as a client, and also organizations that can help them validate their products. Irache, what about your perspective? Like how being part of InnoBuyer might impact your business strategy or development ideas?
Well, in our case, the public sector was not initially our target client, so we did not expect to have public institutions as clients at first, but then after this project, we have seen that yes, they are interested in a system like Honey AI because it's affordable and easy to use, so they can reduce human labor in their sites. So I expect that now that we have created the first market reference in Spain, new countries will join. It's been complex for us to meet the requirements that they have, because as I said, I would say that the main lesson learned is that with public sector, you have to be flexible. They will not, because they cannot. So when you are negotiating with a private institutions, it's easier because if they are here, you are here, you try to reach like a, I don't know, like a win-win situation in which both feel comfortable with. But when you are working with public institutions, they have specific requirements, and this is what they have. I mean, they're not going to negotiate with you. So you have to be flexible, and you have to think about plan B, plan C, plan D, whatever that you can do to adapt to their needs. And yeah, this is what we do. We finally succeeded, but yeah, this is my main lesson learned. And then hopefully now we can go global with other public labs in other countries.
Iracha, you already mentioned one aspect of question I wanted to ask next, which is advice. Like we have a different public here today, also potential future solvers. So startups delivering services and products to public buyers in the procurement framework. Okay, one thing is you're the flexible party here. Any other advices on that?
What we have discovered during this project is that everything is about personal relationships, because again, if you're working with private institution, everything is about money and everything is about trying to find a win-win situation. But in our case, when working with public institution, because in our case, people that we are working with, they are not the decision making persons. It's about personal relationship at the end. So you need to create trust with them. They need to see that you are open, that you are flexible, that you are trying to meet their requirements. And at the end, in case that they feel that they are happy and satisfied with you, then they will try to make that the decision makers will really create a tender or help you. So at the end, we have felt that it's very important that you have good relationship with the person that is gonna try your technology. Then they will do their homework and they will ask.
Who will advocate for you.
Try to scale up the
Mm-hmm.
petition. But in Spain, public procurement with startups is very complicated. So I really am very thankful to InnoBuyer program, because otherwise I think that we had not succeed with the pilot that we wanted to do with the public lab.
Thanks for sharing. Rafael, what would be the advice of the public body for either other public bodies interested in becoming part of innovation public procurement, or startups as well? Your thoughts?
First of all, for the city councils or for the cities, just to try to engage and to include people aware and also with experience in innovation, hopefully in private sector and so on, because this is really nice, because they can just working inside the institutions, they could understand the process, how to connect their value they can provide for the startups, for innovation and so on. But only one single person is not enough. So this person could be the first one, but also it's also impossible to create a team a multidisciplinary team into the city council, understanding the legal issues, financial issues, and so on. Because we always say, no, we are always using center. No, but the city councils are not using centers, are legally center, financially center, and so on. So users for us is the final step. But we have a lot of constraints in many different issues. So it is really important to involve and engage people from the different departments. But always counting with one person that can understand the whole process about innovations and also the value they can provide for startups and also for large companies.
Thanks a lot for that. It would be lovely to have more time to keep talking, as it's having both perspectives is very interesting. I believe both for me and for our audience. Unfortunately, as InnoBuyer was pretty complex project, we want to share more and discuss more. So for now, I would like to say a big thank you for both of you. Not only joining us today, but also being a really committed and engaged parts of InnoBuyer Project. And I'm happy that you're completing the work with us with a very tangible results and practical outcomes. So thanks a lot for today and for past months. And Filipa, back to you.
Thank you so much, Anna. Thank you, Rafael and Irache. On my part, it has been a pleasure to work with both of you. Okay, the solver and the challenger that were representing all of the solvers and all of the challengers here today and in this event, during this event. So as we have a tight schedule, I think that it is time to start the second session. So I ask Jorge if you want to start. The floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Filipa. So I'm Jorge González. I am the director of TBMED, one of the partners of InnoBuyer. I'm here to talk first about what we have learned and what recommendations we do to the policymakers, but also to the ecosystem from the years that we have been very tightly collaborating with the challengers and with the solvers. And then I'm going to talk with two other practitioners from the challengers and the other from the solver side. And I will introduce them as soon as I'm finished. First, I want to show you a presentation with these key learnings and recommendations, and then we will move more about the debate. So here, again, I guess you know about InnoBuyer at this stage, but just a very clear assessment of what we have done. We just started with the demand side. We ask what we call the challengers, the public administration, to identify the challenges. Then after that challenge, we look for the solver, the best solver, which only chose one. And then we support them to co-create a solution against that challenge. And then we also provided legal expertise as part of the process. Okay, this last part is kind of innovative as an instrument. Then for those that they have been successfully evaluated, what we ask the challengers is that they do something to incorporate, to adopt, to uptake the solution. It could be with the solver, it could be with someone else, but what we want is that they get the problem solved in the first place, because otherwise we have been wasting time and money on them. Okay, and we don't want that. So in order to see how well or how bad we did it, we ask the beneficiaries, our 32 beneficiaries, what do they think about the InnoBuyer, how we did it. 29 of them replied, and I think we got a good mark. Could be better, could be worse, but I think 4.62 is quite good. Then another KPI that strikes me is like basically all but one will do it again. Okay, so of course means that there is something in InnoBuyer that really want people to have more. And then 4.39 expect project traction, which is something that we have been insisted a lot in InnoBuyer. So the overall picture is like people are happy with the model, but we need to improve. And let's see what are these details where we would like to see, our beneficiaries would like to see. So challengers, the demand side, what do they tell? Okay, they ask for simpler, agile procedures more than traditional. Okay, this is something that InnoBuyer has done, and maybe they ask us for more. They want to be a bigger role in selection of the solver. We have external evaluators, but they want to have even a bigger role. They were also invited, but they want to have a bigger role. That's a learning. And like everybody else, like everybody, including us, they ask for money. They'll say, okay, we would like to have follow-up money after the pilot has been proved successful. Okay, that's the wish, of course. They also like for stronger post-project support in order to do that adoption. Okay, that's the demand side. What do the solvers, the companies, tell us? We were limited by 60, well, for in the case of the folders, solvers, a little bit less than 60,000 euros. That was imposed by the European Commission. And obviously, many of them say, look, for the amount of work that I have to do, this money is not enough. In my opinion, they do it, not because the money will pay for the bills, because they see a strategic and commercial opportunity into this. But still, it will be fair that the money, the grant allocated to them is proportional to the effort and the risk that they are taking. Okay. There is always things that happen. You plan for 9 months, 12 months of co-creation, but then Christmas are in the middle of problems with the leader contact in one organization or the other. There are many things can happen in the execution. So we give them not so much time, maybe in some cases, and they ask for us and to be also more flexible in order to change things. Some of them, not all, but some of them say that they don't know if the challenger will follow up, if they will have a follow-up uptake of the solution. Okay. Now, these are the learnings from the consortium. Okay, we see that compared to other traditional instruments that are demand-driven or procurement of innovation, there is people that really value that InnoBuyer was fast, simple, and in terms of also economic, meaning that they don't need to get into the millions of the budget to deal with it and all the complexity that goes around. Okay, and there's also in paperwork, they need to publish a tender. We did it from the consortium, but everything was relatively simple, especially if you compare with other much bigger projects. So agility is very important for the hands-on training. Okay, so many organizations in the both sides, it was the first approach in the demand-driven, and making things simpler is very valuable for them, to get results and to leave this appetite to do more. Okay, because you may think, okay, a co-creation of 60,000 euros in total is not going to be a big project that is going to change anything. Yes, even you can solve some stuff, some problem that you have, but especially it's a capacity building for getting into bigger projects in the future. Okay, and also introduce a cultural change. Say, okay, we know how to do innovation with the externals, and we can get into that in different funding and different projects. Okay, now, as we know, we want to have as much adoption and continuity as possible. So what we learned is the early involvement of decision makers is very, very important. We asked for a letter of commitment to decision makers in the organization. That meant that we didn't have as much recruitment power as if we don't ask for anything, because getting a signature, especially in public administration, is very difficult. But that was a filter, so to say, so that the ones that apply at the end, they have much more commitment than the others, which of course helps afterwards. But this is not enough. Just a letter of commitment is paper. We need to keep on delivering support during execution and after execution. Okay, because what we see is that once you finish the co-creation and the people that work in the co-creation, the innovation unit, for example, with the external company, they get along, they are fine. But as soon as you start talking about the procurement and acquisition, etc., all the players came into the picture, and they don't always are so aligned as the solver and the challenger teams driven the collaboration. Okay, so it is critical for adoption that there is more support than the standard instruments. And finally, from our side, as I said, we believe that there is a gap between the millions of euros of other instruments like PCP and PPIs and the thousands of euros of InnoBuyer. Okay, what about the mid-size project? What instrument fits in the projects that are what the other route? What instrument fits the needs of these kind of projects? Okay, we have also seen the participation of external evaluators also increases facilitates the legal pathway to acquire the solution in a public tender. But however, there is still these questions to say, is a solver that has participated in the co-creation is still eligible? Can he participate in a later? At what TRL can a solution end in an innovation project? What is the best instrument and model contract? Open contract, restricted compound to acquire the solution. So there is a lot of uncertainty about what's coming next after the successful innovation project. So very quickly, what are our recommendations? We have 5 recommendations to policymakers, but we also want to share it with you because we are part of the ecosystem, and you should be also have your say about if you agree or if you can improve our recommendations. The first one is like, obviously, we're not going to be less. We also want more money, okay? But not for the sake of money, but because we believe that this adds a value. And more than we want more money, it's not more money for TPM, it's more money for funding this type of instruments, whoever is the winner of the project, okay? Because we see from the results of our beneficiaries that they are happy with it, but they also tell us how to improve them. There is what I said before. There is a gap between the millions of euros of the PCPs with the thousands of euros of InnoBuyer. Okay, what can we do to address this midterm, these projects in the middle? So also, because this is not only to address one unmet need, which of course is the primary objective, but as a secondary objective, what this type of projects that is for organizations that they have no experience at all in demand-driven innovation, in co-creation with externals and so on and so forth, is a great opportunity to learn, not from the theoretical perspective that there are hundreds of documents explaining what is innovation procurement, what is demand-driven innovation, but a hands-on approach, okay? And also, if I may, it is very important for policymakers and everybody in the end that if a solver solves a solution from a challenger, and the challenger doesn't acquire the solution, it is very damaging for the solver not ending with the first customer. All the trust of the market is lost because they will ask you, you did it with this challenger, that challenger has not adopted. Why should I do it? What are you not telling me? Why should I trust you? So that's why we insist too much in the importance of adoption, deployment, update, whatever you want to call it. And they have to take that into account, that this is a value, because when you do things right, it is the solver that adopts the solver that adopts the solution and generates a first customer for the company. That's why they should have more funding instruments like this. Now, we know InnoBuyer is not perfect, okay? We didn't get a 5, okay? And they told us things that could improve. Okay, let's improve it. Or policymakers, give it a thought. Sandbox, new instruments, improve from the feedback of the beneficiaries and feedback from the intermediaries that we are overseeing the project and deploying the project, okay? To policy experimentation, innovate in the innovative instrument, in the innovation, meta-innovate, okay? Very important, if you have to do something, include adoption during and post-project, okay? And also be more flexible, as we mentioned before. And measure what happens after the pilot. Share the lessons and retrofit them into the new versions of the instruments, okay? So do more instruments, but better, smarter in every iteration. There are unclear things that can happen that people don't know how to follow up, because the majority of the thing is that the majority of the pilots in a coordination and supporting like a Skyfed, and the main objective is to get the pilot done, and the most of the results are successful, okay, but very few projects like InnoBuyer, they have also been insisted on what happens next, okay? And then when it happens next, it's like there is a lot of uncertainties, okay? Can the solver apply for a tender after promoted by the challenger? What is the TRL, for example, that solution can end up in a demand-driven project? What is the best instrument for a challenger organization if they launch a public tender, okay? These things should be something that is discussed in the ecosystem and that everybody gets a common understanding, so things are very smooth between the end of the pilot, the research and innovation world, and the public tendering world, okay? Right now, it's not clarity, and that's not good for anybody. Then, show of success, okay? Measure if what has been successful, and show off make also the people heroes, okay? The people that they have put there, that they have been working during the pilot, and they have been working after the pilot, and they see a visible result. We should give them all the credibility, and put them in a best, making them like a statue in social media, whatever. It doesn't mean that we have give them money. It's more recognition and visibility, so that can inspire the people to do the same. Okay, and they can also highlight, oh, this has these benefits. I can get that, and it's not so difficult, perhaps, or not as difficult as I thought. And that will create a cycle where more people want to participate, and then more people think better because they can learn also from others. And the last recommendation is that impact first. Okay, everybody's moved by incentives. We, as I mentioned before, we put a filter in the selection criteria and eligibility criteria. We want to see that you are committed. There are a lot of things that you can do between that letter and the final support in an instrument like InnoBuyer. But it has to be that the policymakers, they do care that there is impact, not just that I give you the money, I evaluate your results, what is the next project, okay? So this is it. We have encapsulated this, or better say, we have put all this in a more detailed text, that is the policy paper, the white paper that we have produced with the learnings and policy recommendations. This will be, it's already available in our website, but I'm sure my colleagues will share it with the participants. And this is it. This is my presentation. And now what I would like to do is to give the word to my panelist. Let me start with Marcin. He's what we call a challenger. Antonio is what we call a solver in the InnoBuyer jargon. Marcin, can you please introduce yourself?
Yes, I'll start with saying that I'm at the conference at the moment, and that's a silence at the moment, which is good. But at any time, more people can come and do some noises, so apologies for that. I'm Marcin Couch. I work as a consultant and a project coordinator for various innovation project, like procurement of innovation, or just assessing the innovation. In this case, I worked as a consultant for the Olsztyn Hospital, who wanted to do something different, extra, new. So I helped them throughout the process. I helped them to sketch the proposal, and then helped them throughout, going through the purchase and the whole process.
Right. Sorry, Antonio, can you please introduce yourself?
Yes, thanks. This is Antonio Ortez. I'm the co-founder and the Chief Scientific Officer of EB2, Evidence-Based Behavior. That is a spin-off company from Universidad Carlos III de Madrid, here in the southern part of Madrid. And basically, we develop a machine learning-based solution with mainly for mental health, but the challenging we apply is totally different here.
Right. Marcin, what is your overall experience with InnoBuyer?
I'm very positive about that, and I think it also somehow resonates with what I did and what I do, because before that I usually did things that were rather PPIs than anything else. So going into InnoBuyer was like touching the PCP and just touching that. So we were not overwhelmed with the work. We did not have to commit ourselves for 5 or 4 years. So from my perspective, that was an ideal proposal for me. And I think it was also good for the hospital. I'm going to criticize it a bit later, but the most important impression is that I really enjoyed that.
Right. Antonio, same question. Overall experience?
Yeah, it's very, very positive. Let's say our contribution was in a challenge. The challenge is to find a solution for the early detection and management on delirium in older hospital patient. It was done in collaboration with one of the biggest hospitals here in Madrid, the Gregorio Marañón. That is also one of the most complicated hospital. So the InnoBuyer offered us the opportunity to work with the hospital from a very nice point that is demand driven. That is as a startup company. That is okay. Here you have the focus on what you have to provide and what you have to develop. And let's say we enter in a very creative co-creation. Let's say because in the first moment we were thinking on designing a tool for assisting diagnosis and etc. And we end up with a tool that operates in the background, providing not only the risk for each older patient, but also the management for each of those patients. And I think that in this co-creation, the role of InnoBuyer was good, let's say, because at the first time, it is not the first time I cooperated with people at hospital. And sometimes it's very difficult, let's say, just to agree what to do, because the language are very different between the clinician and the technician. And let's say the clarification and the help that the InnoBuyer contribute is very clear, and it has been very valuable for having a success into developing this product. Because if not, it will take the period for developing the solution was really very short. But it is without the help of the InnoBuyer, it will take much longer. So in summary, our experience, it was very, very positive.
Okay, I confirm we haven't bribed them nor threatened them to say they are free to say whatever they want, even if it is very positive feedback for us. Okay, next question. I have mentioned some learnings and recommendations. I will start now with Antonio to give some learnings and recommendations. So we are not going through all of them, but which one will you highlight, or you want to refine, add more comments on them?
Well, first, I have, let's say, been, or my thoughts were very reflected into the learning paper. So, and if I have to highlight one or two things, the first one, it is, let's say, is how to increase the commitment to adoption. It is because, let's say, if we are trying to sell this solution to a public health hospital, this is very complicated, and it is necessary to get not only the innovation unit of the hospital, but the decision maker from the first moment. And the second one is, okay, we have action like this, that is very nice, but with that provide a support that of, let's say, less than 100,000 euros. And the next step into the EAC is accelerator, that is 2 million euros. And it is how can we close this gap, or how can we fund this gap? Let's say if you are going to the European Innovation Council, let's say the kind of project that they have is very narrow, that they start by, let's say, Pathfinder, Transition, Accelerator. But there is a lot of innovation like this that can be bring into this, can take the fund on the opportunity to grow up. And it is, I think that this is a way that has to be explored.
Okay, so increase the commitment and to look for instruments between small and big projects, so to say, medium-sized projects.
Yeah.
Marcin, your take?
Yeah, I think I'll just echo what Antonio said and go back a bit to the previous question, because I think that the size of InnoBuyer is very well thought through. If you apply for money that Antonio mentioned, like accelerator or Pathfinder, there's a lot of preparation, there's a lot of money involved, there's a lot of effort. If you are unfamiliar with innovative procurement and you want to learn something in a very safe environment, then I think it was a really ideal proposal, because a lot of work were done by you, the consortium, that supported that. So it was very easy for other people just to follow instructions, make the commitment that it was not overwhelming, and seeing the results. So from that perspective, I think I would encourage everybody who is thinking about applying, that they should think about something that is not very, 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 very ambitious. It should be ambitious, but you just don't try to to invent a wheel or go to Mars. There are a lot of problems that are unsolved in any institutions, and by exploring the more innovative approach to how to handle them, and with the support of InnoBuyer team, I think it is a really good opportunity for people to test it. So I think that that should be, I think you should a bit more marketing about that, because I don't know, other people understand how useful it could be and how much support you give them. So instead of thinking about something very big or not really being interested in anything, I think this is a very safe learning environment in which the project operates, and I think that it should be somehow noted, probably giving the examples of what the successful project from let's say the first InnoBuyer. So I think that would be my recommendations.
Perfect. We have touched a number of learnings, policy recommendations you have stressed on. Apart from them, any concrete suggestions or of ways of improvement to move forward? If we do a next edition as an instrument, what would you propose? Marcin, for example.
Yeah, I think that what I would really stress is trying to convince the solver that they should really listen and read what they are being told or said, or because in our case, the solver didn't pay attention to what we really stressed, which is the weather conditions. We are from north of Poland, which is pretty cold, pretty wet, and the solver was from Spain, which was a bit dry and no rain at all. So we kept telling them, guys, but this is really something different. We need something that is weatherproof. And they didn't listen to that. So we had some really major issues or problems at the beginning that later on were fixed. But I think that my message to the solver is really read to what you said and ask for instance, why do you keep talking about the weather? There's a reason for that. So listen to what you are being told, and if you have any doubts, just ask. Because I understand that for people who live in sunny Spain, the conditions in northern Poland or Scandinavia would be a bit like abstract. Okay, I know, but at the end of the day, you really don't know. And vice versa. If you were designing something, we wouldn't probably take into consideration that Spain is so hot that we need to have a special material not to, for instance, melt down the solution. So that's my message.
Right. But at the end of the day, what you want is that they truly understand your need versus what the technology that they have, they just make a quick and easy way to get to put them into your hands. So they have to make the effort to understand what are your need, the context of your need, also all the surroundings, including organizational issues and things like that. Okay.
I would say that they could learn it hard way or easy way. They learned it hard way.
Okay.
To the challenger that state your needs clearly. Shout them out. Say what you really care about. Ask the solver whether they understand what we just say, because I think it is also important that people who are the challenger need to be very clear, specific what they want. Otherwise, they'll be the solver would be a very uncomfortable situation. The solution that is irrelevant to the real need.
In your case, how difficult was to design? Well, in InnoBuyer lingo, we have the unmet need, which is the first thing that you propose, and then perhaps with the one support from InnoBuyer, we finish in what we call a challenge. Can you tell us something about this process from the initial idea to the final publication of the challenge?
Okay, so I think that a bit, let's say, a non-standard situation was that I was already, before the project, I did other innovative procurement project. So it was, for me, it was pretty clear and full how we should deal with that. I think that understanding your need is not as easy as people think. When I talk about that, usually people say, what are you talking about? I don't know what I want. I do know what I want. No, you don't. So you really need to have, think what is your real need, not what is the usual solution that you usually buy, and every time you buy it, it's a bit more expensive. So paying a lot of attention and really, it's, as I said, the solver can learn things easy way or hard way. The challenger should also could also learn things hard way or easy way. If they pay attention at the beginning and really invest, it's like investment. If you don't invest enough, you will not have the profit. So don't be afraid or spend some extra time on really understanding what you want and making it very precise. Some years ago, we did a project about the IT in healthcare, and we were asking the solvers whether what they are being told is easy and comprehensible and clear. And in case of Poland, they said like 25 of them said yes. The challenger said it in a way that we understand what they are saying. In case of Spain, it was like 16%, and in case of Denmark 0%. So if you are an IT solution provider in Denmark, you had no idea what you're being asked about. So challenges, please do spend some time on understanding things yourself, and then making sure that the person you talk to really understand what you need. And I think it's underestimated. People think that they know what they are. As I said, they don't.
Right. Very good. Antonio, same question.
I agree with most of the things that Marcin mentioned. That is, let's say the first one is, let's say, from the challenger side, they have a clear idea of what they want. Let's say, have a clear KPIs, let's say, and have from the very beginning all the people that should be involved into the project to be in the project. Let's say it is not only the innovation part of the hospital. So you need to include the management part of the hospital, the IT, the regulation, privacy and data protection officer. Because if not, let's say, instead of having a fast development, you have to go step by step. That it is, and let's say, and I think that this can be improved. And also, let's say, our view from as a solver, let's say, the recommendation is to be open-minded. Let's say, because it is not a question of if you are playing with a demand-driven solution. It is not that the product that you have, it is that you have to fit necessarily in the need. It is that you have to be open to the co-creation. How to improve this? I don't know. We do it, and let's say, and thanks to this, we end up with a product that I think that it is really nice and with high performance. This
Fantastic. Oh, sorry. Right. We are getting to the time limit, but I wanted to ask you, and I will start with you now, Antonio. For a solver, imagine that hopefully the European Commission and the entity launches a follow-up on InnoBuyer or a similar instrument.
Yeah.
What would you recommend to a solver before getting in or during the execution of the collaboration?
What what can I expect? Well, let's say it is if without this very limited amount of time, and especially in the health sector, in which the evidence has to be, let's say, compiled and demonstrated, and it is, I think that some, let's say, collaborative project or for, let's say, putting the or obtain evidence from the developed solution to fulfill efficiency, etc. Let's say this a way in which you have to, let's say up to the point in which a call like the accelerator want you to be. What is that you have show some attraction on the market and the engagement of user and the usefulness of your product. So I think that this can be this could be a nice spot for developing project and for having support for
Right,
this.
but for example, say that there is a new version of InnoBuyer, and then a colleague of you sees a challenge that he has questions on, and he comes to you and say, Antonio, will you recommend me to join this initiative? Or what does it depend? You would say depends. Depends on what? What will be the goals and what will be the no-goes that you
For
will
this
recommend?
initiative,
Sorry?
for this initiative,
Yeah, imagine that there is a follow-up
yeah,
InnoBuyer,
okay.
okay? And then a friend of yours from another colleague says, I've seen this of InnoBuyer, but I'm not sure. Tell me
Yeah.
things why I should go, or in which cases I should go, or in which cases I should not go for InnoBuyer.
Well, I think that there are two main key questions. The first one, it is, what is the challenger? Let's say there is if the challenge is well reputed and it is
The challenge or the challenger?
the challenger. The first is the challenger and the second is the challenge. But the
Okay.
first is the challenger. It
Okay.
is if the challenger has a good reputation, and it's open to innovation, this is a go. If not, the path will be very, very difficult. And the second one, it is, okay, it is attractive. So it represents, let's say, a good challenge or a good opportunity for developing a product that can be sold not only to the challenger, but to many other customers.
Okay, very good, Antonio. Thank you very much. That's exactly
Well,
what I was asking you. And Marcin, same question to you.
Yeah, I think I'll say three things. One is for the solver, read what you are being presented. For the challenger, I would say be serious. I mean, this is serious. If you don't want to do it, don't do that. But if you're in, you have to be in 100%. Otherwise, it will be like an orphan project that nobody cares about. So don't waste your time. Don't waste other people's time. Try it and be really involved. And for the InnoBuyer, I would say that you do need to simplify the reporting system. I know that need to follow what's happening, but we had a feeling that we are just filling the same table 3, 4, 5 times. I think that it's improved.
Right, and for a potential challenger, say a colleague in another hospital, they have never done demand-driven innovation. In which conditions, say, what are the conditions that they should enter or they should not enter? How would you advise him?
I would say that I think we're now going to the psychology part of the problem. I mean, if you really care about your organization, if you really want to develop it, if you really want to grow, if you want to surpass your competitors, you have to invest, and you can invest in many ways. One of them would be being innovative. So if you want to be innovative, not pretend, not just say like yes, it's good, we should do that, and at the end of the day you do nothing. So if you're in, you're in. There's like no 50%. It's like, the return of Jedi. Don't try. It's either you do it or you don't do that. There's no trying, there's doing.
So what do they will have to take into account if they join? What they will have to take into account in terms of effort or in terms of frustration or in terms of whatever dimensions you want to share, so they are prepared and say, okay, Marcin told me this, so when I see it, I was prepared.
Okay, so they should. I think Antonio already said that, but I want to also stress it that you need to have a lot of people involved, and meaning that, for instance, you have to have the full support of the board. If the board is not interested, you are never going to do that. You are just going to waste Antonio's time and your time, not achieving anything. The second would be introduce end users at the very, very early stage of what you are going to do. In our case, the person who invented the challenge was a nurse who we talked to, and she said, we have this problem of, taking care of people who need an urgent care because they cannot walk, or they have some, they feel like they are weak and they almost fall to the floor. So there was a person down there who knew what the need really is. So if you cannot buy happiness, you cannot be somebody else. So if you feel like, this is really mine, I owe this problem, this is mine and I want to sort it out, then do it. If you are not sure, then don't do that. But like I said, there's no trying. Do it,
right,
and then you'll be successful. If you just try, you won't be successful.
Right. In my jargon, Marcin, you need the full support of the board. I call that the champion. You need a driving person that believes in the project. I call that the believer. If you don't have a believer that goes bottom up, and you don't have a champion that complements on a top down, you will get the pilot done for nothing.
Exactly.
That's my experience.
Like 0-1, you cannot draw. You either win or you lose. There's no draw.
Right. Okay, we have overcome some the time, so maybe there are some times later for questions. But I think I just want to give you to thank you and to give you a round of applause for your participation. At least from my side, you cannot hear the other ones, but I represent them. Thank you very much for your input. Well, I hope we can collaborate in the future again.
Thank you very much, Jorge, for the invitation.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much for the participation, to Marcin and Antonio and Jorge. We are so thankful to have you on our team. So we need to proceed now, and I will give the floor to Elena as we start session number 3. The floor is yours, Elena.
Thanks so much, Filipa. Good morning, everybody. So I feel like the previous session was a nice transition to this one. We're gonna focus now on defining challenges and navigating the market. These were introduced already, but just to mention that not only for InnoBuyer, but for any demand-driven innovation process, these 2 steps are essential, because we all like the co-creation, the pilots, etc. But where it really begins is by selecting a good innovation challenge and navigating the market to ensure that we find the best possible partner to address that challenge with. So the format of the session will be a panel discussion again. And based on our InnoBuyer experience and in our external speakers' experience, we're gonna present a few findings on how to do these 2 activities successfully. If you have any questions, I invite you already during the chat that you enter your questions in the Q&A box so that we can come back to them later, okay? And without further ado, I'd like to introduce our experts, Irina Klimput and Valentina Shippers, to introduce themselves. Irina, may we start with you?
Yes, good morning, everyone, and thank you so much for this invitation. I'm very excited to be here today, and it's very interesting. My name is Irina Klimput. I'm a PhD in health economics, and I'm currently working as a scientific director at the Belgian Healthcare Knowledge Center, which is an independent and entirely publicly funded research agency. We are performing mainly research for policymakers and other stakeholders in healthcare to support evidence-based practice, evidence-based policymaking. And I am also leading the NEED initiative, which is an initiative that aims to identify unmet health-related patient and societal needs. So it's a little bit a different scope than InnoBuyer, but it's also very much related, I think, to demand-driven, and we would like to call it more needs-driven innovation in healthcare specifically.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Irina. It's great to have you. Then I leave the floor to Valentina to introduce herself.
Thank you so much, Elena, and welcome to everyone. I am coordinator of the Urban Agenda Partnership on Innovative and Responsible Public Procurement, a network leading by Municipality of Haarlem, the Netherlands. And in this network, we have a lot of cities, other public authorities on regional and national level, and also expert organizations on public procurement, and also European Commission is part of this network initiative. And I'm also chair of Eurocities Working Group on Public Procurement and a member of network, as also Jorge and Ina are, Innovation Procurement Task Force, where EU-funded projects take part and exchange and make use of each other's resources. Thank you so much.
Thanks so much, Valentina, for that nice overview. So let's directly dive into the first topic, that is defining a challenge. So I would like to ask you, from your experience, what makes a well-defined innovation challenge? Let's start perhaps with Irina, and then Valentina reacts.
Yes, well, for me, I think there are two major requirements for a well-defined innovation challenge, and that is first, that the actual unmet needs are identified and measured upfront. So before the actual innovation has been launched or taken place, and preferably also in a scientifically justified manner. So preferably using a standardized way to measure these needs, to identify these needs, and also using standardized tools. And that is exactly what we are trying to obtain now with our NEED proposal, with our NEED project. And the second requirement for me is also that it needs to address what is the most important unmet need that needs to be filled. So we are looking at diseases, and within these diseases, there might be different unmet needs, but patients or society, the government, they know very well what are the most important or the priority needs that need to be defined. And so that needs to be clearly and unequivocally presented and ambiguously presented in the challenge definition for me. So just to give you a very concrete example from the patient's point of view, a patient has a disease and there are multiple symptoms, but not all symptoms are equally important for this patient. So these patients can very well identify what is my most important need now. And from a societal point of view, it could be economic impact of a disease. For instance, if people are not able to work anymore or they need adaptation to their working environment, that might be a very important societal need to address and to find solutions for, innovative solutions.
Thank you very much, Irina. So in a nutshell, demonstrate evidence and also know how to prioritize what is truly important.
Exactly.
Thanks so much. Then I invite Valentina to answer as well. You're muted, Valentina.
Okay, second try.
Perfect.
I was talking to myself only. Okay, so for me is a very important requirement is to formulate your procurement need as a challenge. because it will stimulate the creative power of the market parties. I will just give my favorite example from health. During the COVID, a lot of hospitals formulated the procurement need to clean and to sterilize the hospital rooms. We need very good cleaning materials, and we need good cleaning staff, the fluids to make it clean and sterile. So, but one of the hospitals said, okay, we need solution to have no bacteria and viruses in the room, in the hospital rooms. So they didn't mention that it should be the cleaning fluid material stuff. So they left it to the market, and market came up with an interesting innovative solution where they used UV lamps to sterilize the whole room, and with a lot of advantages, because you could do it more quickly, and you didn't need to move patients, and so on and so on. So it's just an example, or another example. If you formulate, I need lamps, preferable from Philips, for our hospital. Then you will get lamps from Philips for your hospital. But if you say we need enough lights in the hospital, it could be even bigger windows, or it could be very innovative LED solutions.
Nice example,
So
Valentina.
just an example, yes.
Thanks so much. I think that this is super important in order not to be prescriptive, to leave room for the innovation to happen, and you frame it very well. So thanks for that. Then another question that I would like to make you both is, do you know, like, which are the most frequently made mistakes or the common pitfalls that you see sometimes public procurers make when defining their innovation challenge? I guess that somehow one was already mentioned, that is being prescriptive, perhaps, but can you think of any other mistakes that we should try to avoid? Either Irina or Valentina, whoever wants to start.
Yeah, maybe I would like to come back a little bit on what Valentina said, because that's really an important point, that you are not prescriptive. And just to give you a very concrete example, in the current pharmaceutical legislation, which is under revision, the definition of unmet medical need is really focused on there not be an alternative medicinal product available that is effective. And so what we try to do also in the NEED program is to see, innovation can also come from something else than a pharmaceutical product. So you should be open to that. And that's why I think we should look more broadly than just the pharmaceutical sector when trying to find innovations, because it's typically the case that there is a lot of supply-driven innovation currently coming from the pharmaceutical industry, and maybe there are other solutions. So I think I completely concur with Valentina was saying about this prescriptiveness, and it also should be translated in our European legislation. So that's another point I wanted to make. And then with regards to the other pitfalls in formulating a challenge, I think that one of the pitfalls could also be that that it refers to presumed unmet needs. Especially when you are talking about patient needs, societal needs, sometimes it's the case that healthcare providers, for instance, think this is a very important unmet need of patients, while patients think differently about it. And I think we will come back to that later on. And another point is also that it's purely based on demand of patients. And demand is not the same as needs, because a demand can be created. And just to give you a very concrete example, Sometimes when we talk to patient populations, they say, well, there is a lack of reimbursement of nutritional supplements, for instance. But if these nutritional supplements are not effective or evidence-based, then it's more a demand that is created by social media, by the media in general, rather than a real need, because these supplements are not actually helping the patient. So that is the kind of things you have to be critical about and take into account when you are defining your challenges.
Thanks so much, Irina. The example was perfect because to me, this seems like now is the patient who is being prescriptive by those external influences. So they are saying that they want one thing, but perhaps that's not really what they need indeed. So thanks so much. Then any reaction from Valentina?
Yes, Irina mentioned wonderfully a lot of mistakes they often made, and also did some suggestions that would really help, like take into account their perception of the patient self, because it's all about the patients. What I also would like to add to this complete list of the topics is that one of the mistakes is not to consult market parties. And what I mean with that, I would like to showcase using one very small example. During the COVID period, there were plastic coughing screens between working places, and we would like to have another solution than plastic, because it's not good for environment. So we consulted market parties, and we explained and we said what is the challenge, that we would like to have coughing screen, but not plastic. And they were totally free in offering their ideas or creative, innovative solutions. So they came up with a already existing material, wool filled, and coughing screens made from wool. It's a very good material. It's bio-based. You can clean hygienically, and it's also noise absorbing. So if we would make a mistake, would never find this innovative solution. But because we consulted the market parties, we found this very, very nice, environmental friendly, bio-based, and very practical solution, which was not more expensive, and it's already existing material on the market, but the purpose to use was innovative, which is also innovative solution at the end. Thanks.
Excellent. Thanks, Valentina. Yeah, I totally get what you're trying to explain. Sometimes procurers find it difficult to engage in an actual dialogue with the potential suppliers and understand what's out there. So that's definitely something to avoid. We need to be open, transparent, and understand what the suppliers can provide us, right? So thanks so much. Then I'll move to Irina again, because you nicely mentioned the topic of involving end users when defining the challenge. How important is this based on your experience, especially in sectors like healthcare, when we are talking about patients indeed?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sure. It's extremely important, of course, and we've heard during the previous session also already by Marcin Couts and Antonio Artes, how important this is for a really needs-driven innovation, because actually the end users are the ones that are best able to judge the importance of a potential outcome of an innovation. And so we have to involve them. It's really inevitable. It's a basic requirement. And also it's important not only for developing the innovation, but also more downstream, where you are going then to assess this innovation, because that's also actually the business that we are in at KCE. We are then looking at, okay, there's something new coming to the market. Is this now worthwhile for reimbursement? And then, of course, you need this kind of evidence on what is the unmet need, how important is this unmet need for the patients or from the societal point of view, and to what extent is this new solution, this innovation, actually solving these unmet needs. And that will determine also whether you are willing or not to pay for this innovation from public resources. So really, for me, it's really essential to include and to involve the end users. And very often in healthcare, the end users are the patients, but it can also be the policymakers when you're talking about societal unmet needs. And that's also one of the weaknesses currently still, I think, that is that we are very bad from the governmental point of view in defining what we are willing to pay for an innovation with a specific predefined outcome that we are looking for. So that is something to work on in the future, I think.
Thanks so much, Irina. Could you elaborate a bit more on how like techniques for involving the end users, either in the needs identification part or in the assessment part, as you mentioned?
Yeah, I think within NEED, we developed an entire process for involving actually collecting evidence from patients and from stakeholders in general, also from clinical experts, for instance, when it's about effectiveness of treatment. And yeah, it's very difficult to judge for patients what the effectiveness of treatment is compared to doing nothing, for instance. So that's how we then involve healthcare providers and experts. So yeah, we have an entire process for that, including surveying patients to identify what is the kind of symptoms that gives the highest burden, or what are the needs that you want to see resolved as soon as possible, or which is for you priority to be solved. Yeah, that's the kind of involvement that we developed in our project.
Excellent, thanks so much. Then coming back to Valentina, as a city, I would like to ask you, like, how do you ensure that you consider the city's priorities into the innovation that you procure?
Yes, what we are often doing is we have a city strategy, include like topics like climate adaptation and better biodiversity and sustainability, circularity, and so on. So what we are saying is that we're using award criteria. We're saying you can gain extra points as a market party if you would contribute to our strategy topics with your innovative solution. And in that way, we receive plenty of wonderful, interesting solutions. For example, it's something else than health, but it was one company who proposed to use develop an app on the smartphone for reuse of the construction materials that normally would become a waste. But in that case, you could use this app to exchange. But there are also many others, which is make it also much nicer also to choose the best solution. And we also use innovation hubs we facilitate in our municipality for startups and small and medium enterprises to experiment with their innovative, circular, social impacted solutions. And what we also do, as I mentioned, market engagement, and we are also doing, if possible, the pilots with European Innovation Council to find a solution for one or another challenge using the innovative companies from the European Innovation Council database.
Thanks so much, Valentina. A follow-up question: is there a way to engage the citizens in the creation of the city strategy that you mentioned?
Yes, indeed. We, of course, there is still room to grow, to make next
course.
steps, of course, but we are trying to involve our citizens in the decision we are making. It could be, for example, by offering the different options so they can choose the option of their choice, or we have for participation also different possibilities to do it in person or virtually, to show or to share with us what they would like to have. And we have also innovation kind of challenges. We have some dedicated budgets from 10,000 euros to 70,000 euros, and the citizens or social partners or other stakeholders can collaboratively propose, suggest their innovative solutions for the city, and then if they gain enough points, they win their project, and they will get the money to realize their projects of their choice.
Super, thanks so much. Then we will move to our final question to both of you. I remind the attendees that if you have questions for our speakers, you can add them in the Q&A box, and we will come back to them at the end of the session. But for now, I want to ask you about precisely what we were talking about, engaging the market. So sometimes we see that some procurers of innovation are not the best to engage the innovators. So what's your experience with communicating innovation needs or challenges to the market? How can we make it attractive so that those good innovators are interested and participating in the project? Any tip? Starting maybe with Irina?
Yeah, it's an excellent question, and I must admit that we are probably not very good at it because it's not our core business, and we have also been focusing a lot on developing the procedures and tools, etc. But of course, it's extremely important to communicate very well. And also to come back to one of the things that Valentina was saying about public involvement, I think what the first thing that we did was to ask the general public, what are, according to you, or can you submit proposals for unmet needs studies so that we can, where do you think are the highest unmet needs in a specific disease area? So that's the way we try to involve the public to identify and prioritize potentially also the unmet needs. But then in terms of communication towards the innovators, we are not very well developed yet. We are now just including all the data and scientific evidence that we collect on unmet needs in all the different diseases that we investigate in a database. We publish it on the website, and we talk a lot at different events and conferences, etc. But that's probably not enough. And I do realize that it's not enough to really attract innovators. I think that we should not forget to also target specific stakeholders that we might not think of in the beginning. So we are now looking a lot at pharmaceutical industry, medical device industry, but maybe we should also look at private investors or investment banks or something like that. So we are not really connected to them yet, and maybe we should sell the story more to them as well. But I think what is also very important, and I mentioned it already before, and really difficult for public payers, is to identify the willingness to pay for an improvement and for an innovation. Because obviously that will be the key for an innovator to decide on investments in an innovation. If we want to move to mid-scale, large-scale innovations, then we really need to be very clear about that. And I think for me, that is the only way to ensure that that the development of new interventions, new products, new services in healthcare will focus on what matters most to the end users, and will also ensure economic viability of the innovation, which is of course essential for the developer. And so, yeah, a really good question and something to further elaborate on. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Irina. But I take as a key takeaway from your side that if you show commitment, if you put your money where your mouth is, let's say, as a policymaker, then you will attract the companies because they will know that there's business for them. Okay, so then the final answer from Valentina, and we will wrap it up.
Yes, thank you so much. It's a really, really nice question. So I would say less administrative burden. It means then try to make your procedures and everything as simple as possible. Also in terms of requirements, use a clear language. Big companies have really huge departments where people subscribing to the tenders, but in the small and medium companies it's difficult. So it's simpler, as clear, as more chance that they would be interesting to subscribe, to submit. Then consult market. In the past, we made a mistake as a municipality. We asked a very nice question or a challenge as a procurement need, but the market was not ready, so we didn't receive any responses at all. So we learned from that, and if you, for example, consult market in advance, so like asking them, imagine we would ask that question, or would we have procurement need, and we would like formulate this as a challenge. Would it be possible for you to submit? Do you have some solutions, or can you develop some? So and then we can sometimes adjust our challenge or formulation of the procurement need. So what also very important is to communicate in advance about the procurements you are going to do, because some of the procurements you know already 1 or 2 years in advance. So if you communicate already, because we also listen to some of the startups, innovative startups, and they say, yes, the research and development is not that easy. It's quite a complex process. It takes time, but it takes also another resources like financial resources. It's very, very expensive. So if you communicate about it in advance, then you will provide possibility for the market parties to invest and to develop solutions the time you are going to do the tender. So also last thing I would like to mention, and then I will stop, is the new development around artificial intelligence. And I would like to tell you a real life anecdote, because in the past, at our municipality, we always wanted to stimulate small and medium enterprises, and almost never received any submissions for our tenders. So last year, it was like explosion. A lot of SMEs and a lot of startups submitted to the tenders of our municipality. Why? Because they learned, because we are making administrative burden less? No. Is it because we use clean language? No. It's only because they put all the questions we ask in ChatGPT, and they copy paste, and then at the end, some of them win tender. We invite them, and they cannot deliver what they promised in the subscription. So now we have a kind of different problem with that. But it's a good development, artificial intelligence, but there are also some
drawbacks. Yeah.
Yes,
Indeed.
yes, indeed. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Valentina, for your insights. I really take as key takeaway from you kind of signaling the market quite in advance so that they can be prepared to what is coming, or if not, maybe making it up with ChatGPT, as you said, obviously kidding. I want to thank you both, Valentina and Irina, for your precious time. and the insights that you shared. We will stay in touch, and thank you once again for joining InnoBuyer.
Thank you very much, Elena. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for this interesting discussion. So we are going to proceed now into our closing session. Bertrand has been the project officer for InnoBuyer since the beginning, and he pre-recorded this session because of professional commitment that that arises at the last minute, very last minute. So please bear with me while I try to share the video.
Thank you, Anna Rita, actually, for the support to make this video, since it's most probably I won't be able to join you tomorrow, which is the 12th of November, since I have an away day, as we say, the whole department, my whole department, we stay a day together for team building. It was imposed to me, if I can say so. After that, we defined together the date of this final meeting of InnoBuyer. So it is like it is. I registered this video for you guys. Yeah, let's start with, as I did with Anarita, with thanking actually some of the colleagues for also the consortium of InnoBuyer, F6S people, Philippa, yeah, thank you for the good work done, and we still have a bit of to do it together, but yeah, it has been a very interesting experience altogether, with quite serious and interesting achievements that have been commented all along the day. Yeah, so here the intention of this presentation is just to give you yeah, an idea of where we are with the Innovation Procurement Programme of the European Innovation Council, and where we want to go in the next month. It might be actually interesting for you, because we have a new major call just coming, where we are calling support from external organization and people, the one involved in innovation procurement in Europe, to support us, EAC, and particularly our companies. You know, these very innovative companies, something like more than 2,000 currently, that have been supported financially, but also via these kind of programs, with these services for them to grow and to reach the market. So here we go. So you may know what is the EIC program. You know, we are targeting deep tech companies in deep tech sectors, such as AI, quantum, biotech, this kind of very moving on and transforming sectors of the economy. And for this, actually, we got the accelerator, the Pathfinder accelerator here, which is the highest TRL 6 to 9. We got the transition program, which is 4 to 6, and the Pathfinder that is 1 to 4. So, but globally, as you may know, we support startups, innovative companies from the early beginning to the moment they reach the market. Indeed, for that, apart from giving this money, investing in them via equity and grants, we do have also smart money, what we call smart money, and which is what InnoBuyer has been delivering within the Innovation Procurement Program. And so apart from money, we also offer services to our companies. That was the aim of this project. You know, what we want to achieve for them, mostly via these services, is for our companies, the EIC companies, for them to develop contacts, indeed, within the ecosystem that is built around them, for them, procurers, public and private investors, large corporates, and also to support them to develop their skills of the EIC companies. There we got some actions on a women leadership program, coaching, many more. And for that, we want them to have contracts with potential investors, corporates, contracts with potential clients. Again, this is the idea of the Innovation Procurement Program. This program actually has been growing up as InnoBuyer was developing. We started InnoBuyer in September 22. Now we are arriving then to the end. 3 years after. And indeed, along the way, we have been developing other programs, other projects. The two that I wanted to mention is indeed InnoMatch, and the other one is Spin for EIC. So all these three projects have been composing the innovation procurement program. Again, here, the same idea, developing skills for the EIC companies, but also for the procurers, contacts, putting them in contact together, and indeed, the achievement that we want to reach is to have them to have contracts to the benefit of our companies, first, the EIC companies, but also for the procurers, public and private, to be able to buy new solutions. So yeah, that's the idea of the demand and the supply. And we are intervening in both sides. In InnoBuyer, exactly that's what we did. We work with both sides, with the demand, the procurers, and the suppliers of innovation, the EIC companies, and not only the EIC companies, because we have also non-EIC companies within InnoBuyer developing these proof of concepts or this co-creation that we did all around InnoBuyer. Yeah, I'm passing a bit quickly on these three different type of services that we are offering to the companies, from the preparation of procurement support. So here we are addressing to the buyers, to the public and private buyers within with InnoMatch and Spin for EIC, the two other remaining projects that are continuing their work once InnoBuyer will arrive to the end in the next weeks. And here we work, you see, also at European level, but also at international level. So we are also in contact with non-European buyers to the benefit of our companies. That's what we do with the assistant to public buyers. And here you can have an idea of the numerous and different type of buyers that we have been already working with, notably with Spin for EIC, which is one of the continuing programs. We also have direct, actually, connections in terms of contracts, potential contracts, between the EIC companies and the buyers. This is the work mostly of InnoMatch, and we just opened, actually, for your good information, if there are some procurers in the room, we just opened actually a new call in InnoMatch that offers the possibility of having a proof of concept between our companies, EIC companies, and the procurers. So stay tuned, have a look to the InnoMatch social medias or website. You will find more information on that. We are actually bringing some money on the table, quite interesting for you guys. That's the online community that we have been developing, mostly on LinkedIn groups. So you can find still the existing InnoBuyer one, but there is also the InnoMatch one. That's again here the idea of having assistance actually to EIC awardees to prepare potential large procurement made. We have a couple running. There is one opening soon, for example, that we are working on these days. My colleague Vasilis Stanidis, notably, which is in relation to drone usage for controlling windmills farms on seas. So that's the Belgian ministry, actually, that is on it. So yeah, that's a potential very interesting program for you EIC companies. Have a look, join Spin for EIC. You will find more information on that. Yes, I'm passing just to give you an overall view of what has been achieved already by InnoMatch and Spin for EIC, the number of skills, contracts, and contacts that have been established, in addition to the one developed by InnoBuyer. Quite impressive to see that. Already a long list of pitching events, and the number of EIC awardees up to 150 that have been involved in these activities. Here it's actually the value that has been engaged via these actions of preparing our companies to go for innovation procurement, to prepare this future procurement, and already some of them have been actually being successful in doing so. Here are a couple of examples. I will fly on them, and actually I will slowly finalize my presentation to tell you that first, here are more information. First, you can still join InnoMatch, kind of successor of InnoBuyer. InnoMatch still offers for you guys, procurers and EIC companies, potential support, even financial support for you to work together to develop these proof of concepts. Go on LinkedIn, go on social medias or the website, you will find more information. The same with Spin for EIC, which here is directed also to procurers themselves, to give them some trainings, to improve their tenders procedures, and also for our companies that are willing to go international and to work on foreign or overseas procurement. Go on LinkedIn, the same thing, you will find more information on that. Here it's actually a call for you guys. You're involved in innovation procurement in general. You know that we are currently revising the European rules for public procurement. This is important, the revision of the directives. This is an opportunity. There is actually a possibility to give an insight, give your feedback on what we should do before the 26th of January next year. So please have a look. I will share with Anna-Rita and the colleagues the link where you can give your opinion. There is more to come. There are more action of the EIC, Business Acceleration Services, towards Innovation Procurement Program. So basically, we are expanding the existing, expanding notably Spin for EIC program. And there we have a new 4 million euro on the table that will arrive first semester next year, 26, first quarter, where we'll actually have a new call in order to develop a kind of 2.0, if we could say, Spin for EIC action. And for that, will you find all the information? Basically on the document that we call the EIC work program. That's basically the work program for the next year, what we're going to do. So in there, you will find all useful information, details about, so as I said, the Innovation Procurement Program. Basically, it's the page 123 and 123, quite easy. And there you can see the deadline is for June 26, 4 million on the table. And the objectives are 3: further enhance the capacity of EIC supported innovators to act as potential suppliers, public and private procurement. This is for the demand side, the procurer side. Secondly, foster the engagement with buyers. And thirdly, accelerate the commercialization of EU-funded cutting-edge innovation, particularly those developed by the EIC top-notch innovators. So here we are focusing on the supply side, the EIC companies. So we are looking at new, service offer on this. I believe in this discussion today, in this final event, there are a number of stakeholders that may be interested in it. So please have a look. EIC Work Program 26, page 123. You will find all the information. Be ready. We open the call rather soon next year, and we close it in June 26. This is it. That were the messages I wanted to convey. I was rather fast on the PowerPoint, but I will send it to you, colleagues. Have a look. We remain at your disposal if you have any more questions. And on this, perhaps see you tomorrow if I'm able still to join. Otherwise, you will just see me in video. And again, thank you. And thanks a lot, Anna-Rita and Philippa.
So we are now ready to invite my dear colleague, Ina. You already heard some information about InnoMatch, but who better than the coordinator to share with us the open opportunities that InnoMatch has to offer. Welcome, Ina. Thank you so much for joining us. And the floor is yours.
Thank you, Philippa. Thank you, everyone. Hello, everyone, and thank you so much for having me today with you. Before I share my presentation, I just want to say that it was great to witness the amazing journey of InnoBuyer and the results and the great impact that you've delivered with this project. And to be honest, I was taking notes all the time. Super important lessons learned and a lot of key takeaways for InnoMatch, basically, based on what has been shared today. So all in all, super useful final event, great final event. So I already saw in the Q&A box that there were a lot of questions, how InnoBuyer will continue, how we can take benefit of those opportunities provided by the EIC. So that's why I'm here today, to share a bit more with the opportunities that we're offering for suppliers and for the buyers. As InnoMatch is a kind of a follow-up project of its predecessor, InnoBuyer. So, shortly about InnoMatch. This is a component, as Bertrano also mentioned, of the EIC Innovation Procurement Program, which aims to bring innovative solutions faster to the market through innovation procurement. But it's important to mention that InnoMatch itself is not dealing with the actual innovation procurement process. We aim to support the pilot testing or the proof of concept demonstration of innovative solution, cutting-edge technologies provided by EIC awardees for buyers, both public and private customers. Each pilot will run for 6 months within the 12-month InnoMatch program, and we aim to support 38 pilots in total throughout the InnoMatch project duration, providing up to 2 million euro or up to over 2 million euro or up to 60,000 euro per pilot or POC. And how do we do that? Through a competitive process, we'll be launching 3 types of open calls. So, test before invest is in the core of InnoMatch. We're bridging the gap between the pilots and the POCs, the proof of concepts, and the actual innovation procurement process, providing funding, providing support to both the suppliers and the buyers throughout their InnoMatch program, InnoMatch journey, with the aim to have those solutions that are successful adopted at the end of the process. But we are perfectly aware that 12 months is not enough time for most of the cases, most of the solutions to be adopted. So it will be difficult to have them adopted within InnoMatch. But that is why we engage committed buyers. And the previous speakers already discussed about that, how important it is to have the right challenger, the right buyer, procurement customer on board. So we always say that we need and we engage committed buyers that will have a budget allocated for innovation procurement or want to have an idea to allocate such budget or are already experienced in the innovation procurement process. These are the buyers that we need so that we can assure that the solutions, once successful, proved successful, will enter the next step, the next phase, the actual innovation procurement process, and they will be adopted. And because maybe we're a little bit over time, I will not go into details. I'll be sharing this presentation with you, and I'll go straight to the opportunity, to the open call that we've launched last week. So it is very fresh. And it will remain open for the next 3 months until the beginning of February 2026. What is this? Who is this call targeting? This is for EIC awardees paired with buyers, public or private buyers, committed buyers. The EIC awardee is the applicant for this call. And will receive, if selected, up to 60,000 euro in the form of a lump sum. In this open call, this is the second wave of this open call because we've already onboarded the first 22 companies in cohort 1 from the previous wave. So in this wave, we will be selecting up to 12 pilots or POCs But it is very, very important to mention that in this wave of the call, we're prioritizing applications with committed public buyers. We will be selecting at least seven applications out of 12. Also, something very important to mention, the eligibility criteria for the applicants, for the EIC awardees, for the EIC-backed companies. We're only accepting Horizon Europe EIC-backed companies from the EIC Pathfinder, Transition, EIC Accelerator, or EIC Prize winners. The application process is very straightforward. You go to the F6S platform, register if you're not registered, then you apply. Here in the presentation you have the link, but also the QR code where you can find more information on our website. All the documents, guidelines are there. And in case you're interested to apply in our open call, you can register for our upcoming info webinar on November 20th. So this is the first of a series of info webinars that we will be conducting in order to support the applicants in the application process, to provide more information. And it's not only that, I'm not going to go into details of what are the benefits for the suppliers and the buyers. I think we all understood very well based on all the discussions and the nice presentations during the day. Just a reminder again, it's the EIC awardee that receives the funding, and I want to focus on that, the matchmaking that also Bertrand mentioned. If you are a buyer and you are looking for an EIC to apply with, in pair with, to apply on your behalf for our open call, you can benefit from our matchmaking support. We are collecting unmet needs from buyers, organizing closed sessions for those buyers. We're happy to have some buyers from InnoBuyer also engaged in InnoMatch already. So this is that very quickly, very shortly. This is the InnoMatch consortium that makes everything happen. Amazing team coordinated by F6S, TIC Biomed, ICLE Europe, and Civita. So more or less the same team, but we have in InnoMatch ICLE Europe on board to deal with the policy side and to also with the engagement of the buyers. And thank you so much again for having me with you today. It was an amazing, super useful, super impactful event, I would say. And another reminder here, the QR code, scan it, learn more about our open call and apply. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ina. Thank you so much for this presentation and your participation. So we are ending this event, not before acknowledging and thank you to my biggest thank you to all the participants, the moderators who are also partners of InnoBuyer, the experts, the challengers, the solvers. Thank you so much for being here, but above all, thank you for your efforts trying to drive innovation procurement further, to make this area of expertise advance also. So for today, I think that we've reached the end of this session, and I want to acknowledge also on behalf of myself and also the consortium, Anna Rita Alves, who prepared this event. She's our amazing communication manager. Okay, without her, we would not be having such a nice event. She is amazing. All F6S team, also our financial manager, Jessica, who was involved in the consortium financial issues during the project. And my biggest thank you for the partners. TIC Biomed, we have Jorge Lenia, Miriam also. To Civita, I cannot forget to mention Lucas Debon, and of course Anna Tors, for making this project so amazing, so easygoing. It has been a pleasure. Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you, Filipa. Back to you.
Thank you. Have a
Thank
nice
you.
day.
Bye-bye.
Bye.